Hey everyone, it's Michelle Vina-Baltsas. Happy Friday to you. I wanted to share something with you because, and something that have been keeping from you for the past couple of weeks, which is that I had to go for my annual visit today at my doctor, and I was really anxious. And the reason I was anxious is because the physician's assistant that I've been seeing for over 20 years retired over the summer, and I'm starting with somebody new in the practice. And the woman that I saw, I had met once before for like something really, really simple, but I had never seen her for a full-blown physical. And, whenever you're seeing someone new, it's a little bit scary under any circumstances, or I don't know if scary is the right word, but a little apprehensive. But specifically for those of us who are following a no diet approach and believe strongly in health at every size, you never know if somebody that you are seeing is going to be aligned with your belief system. So I had some anxiety around this for the past couple of weeks. And I did my best to work through it, and I said to myself that if her name is Jennifer, if she's not open to my beliefs, and if I feel it's something that I cannot work with, that I would find someone else who is more aligned with my beliefs. But as it turned out, the visit went really, really well, and I wanted to share with you what I experienced. First of all, I sat in the waiting room and I was really triggered and I was like twitching, because they have a TV, and on the TV they have like all these nutritional tips from a registered dietitian. And it's like, something that they probably buy. It's not anyone that works in the office, talking about all of these different things that you should and shouldn't do in relation to food, and also about movement. And so as you can imagine, that was very triggering for me. And I was like, my blood pressure is going to be off the charts by the time I get into the examining room listening to this nonsense. And all I heard was fear, 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 shame, shame, shame. Like, that's how I'm interpreting like everything that this person in this newsreel was talking about. And I had to just calm myself. At one point, I couldn't leave the room because they were going to call me in and I wouldn't have been able to hear them. So I dealt with it, but it was duly noted that this was triggering me. So I got into she called the nurse assistant calls me in, and of course the first thing she says to me is, okay, we need to do a height and weight. And I looked her straight in the eye and I said, I don't do the scale. And, people don't really know how to respond when I say that, but I was completely serious. I said, I don't do the scale. Okay. Then she took me into the examining room and she said something else to me. She said, I see here that you haven't been weighed in over 2.5 years. She said, I just want you to know that your insurance company may not pay for this visit because they require that your weight be taken. And I very politely said to her, I will take that up with my insurance company if I need to. I don't believe that weight is a good indicator of health. Shut her right up. She didn't say anything after that. What are you going to say after that, right? So anyway, I got through that part. She asked me a bunch of other questions, blah, blah, blah. Everything was fine. And then the new physician assistant came in. Her name is Jennifer. She's very lovely. And one thing led to another, and we had a really great conversation about what I do for a living, and, and helping to support women in this capacity to, get off a dieting roller coaster and find optimal health. And she was completely intrigued, so much so that we probably had a 10-minute conversation about health at every size and about the work that anti-diet people are doing in the world. And she was just nodding her head and was like completely affirming that this was the way to go. And I had the opportunity to very nicely say to her, that video in the waiting room needs to be dumped, because all it's doing is reinforcing food fear and food shame, and that the health outcomes when people are shamed and things of that nature are not positive. And again, she was totally open to it. Her eyes were not glazing over. She was like on the edge of her seat, excited to hear more. So I said, I'm happy to share resources that I have a multitude of resources that I am happy to share with you if you give me your email address. So P.S., she gave me her email address, and I plan to send her my entire Pinterest board on research. And I'm excited that all these months and years of pinning stuff about research related to intuitive eating and to health at every size is going to someone who may be able to make a change in the doctor's office that I go to. And there can be a ripple effect, which is really exciting. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I also shared with her that I had anxiousness about going to my appointment, and that I'm a woman in a smaller sized body, and I had anxiety about being weighed and about all the other stuff, that they typically talk about. And that that a lot of people that I know and that I read about, and some even of my clients, don't want to go to the doctor because they are going to be lectured about their weight. And this gave her a completely different perspective about weight and everything else that she had not considered before. So exciting things are happening. I am so thankful to God that this opportunity presented itself to me, because I was able to eloquently and briefly give her enough information so that her interest was piqued. And that's exciting because, all we can do is plant seeds for people. But, as I explained to her, there needs to be a paradigm shift in terms of health and how we relate it to weight, and how outdated the BMI chart is, which she agreed to. So exciting things are happening, and whenever we have an opportunity, when someone seems to be open to learning more about the no diet approach and health at every size, we can be catalysts for change. And that is exciting because change is absolutely essential. The dieting industry is bazillions and bazillions of dollars big. And we need people in all walks of life, all ends of the earth, to be talking about the things that we are doing. And if people are not open to it, and many times they are not open to it, we can lead by example. So it's never fruitless, because just setting the example and having a relaxed attitude about food and choosing not to engage in diet talk and anything else that diet culture continues to breed, which is toxic, we are building ourselves up. And in turn building up others. And I don't know about you, but that excites me so much. In fact, I just hung up with a client a little while ago, and we finished our session, and then we chatted for 15 minutes about, spreading the word and how beautiful it is when people get on board. Or even are exposed to this, because it lightens them up in a way that, or exposes them in a way that they had not been before. And that's exciting. So understand that not everybody is going to be on board with this. And I'm sure many, many of you have experienced pushback from other people. I know I have. And sometimes, frankly, it has not been pretty. So I am very careful who I share my message with. But if people seem open to it, I openly share from my heart how it's changed my life and how I've seen it, how that change has been witnessed also in my clients, without overwhelming them. So I think what I'm going to do, so that we can spread this around, and I always say the way to empower is to educate. So I am going to make a file in our group. I have a suggested reading list of books that are wonderful. Some are fictional and some are fact-based, that are related to anti-diet and also to body image. But I'm also going to create a new file that has a lot of the research documents that I've been collecting for all these months and years, that you can read and also share possibly with anyone who is interested. So we need to become stronger as a community and impart this knowledge to other people who are open to it. And we can do that the best way we can do that is to lead by example. But for people that want more than that, we can share other things with them also. So I realize that this is a long video, but my heart is so filled with excitement of the possibilities that the message is getting around. It makes me so happy. So anyway, I hope you're all doing well. I hope this message receives you in a positive light and that it inspires you, because as you know, that is what lights me up. So thank you, beautiful souls, for being here, for participating, for being part of this movement. I'm getting emotional because people's lives are changing and they are becoming free and they are realizing that they're enough as they are, and they're having healthful outcomes emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And that to me doesn't get any better than that. So have a great weekend. Love you all. And again, thank you so much for being here. And please let me know if this video resonates with you, because that means a lot to me. I like to know when I'm making an impact, and it really also fuels me to continue to do them. So bye. Take care.